My question has to do with the current issue of sequestration, if I pronounce that correctly.
Yes, you did.
As a member of the Armed Services Committee, along with your colleague from the other side of the aisle, the defense portion is going to be a big chunk of that sequestration process. What I read in the paper, I have to be honest, and I think it's not telling me the whole story. So I'm going to ask, without carving out a position for yourself or challenging the other side, are there serious discussions going on in the committee rooms and in the offices about what's going to happen?
There are. Most of those have been informal at this point in terms of the Senate discussions. And let me just provide a little bit of background. As part of the debt ceiling agreement that we made last year, we agreed to $2.2 trillion in savings over the next 10 years. $1 trillion to be taken immediately. That's already been done. And the second $1.2 trillion to be agreed to by what was called a super committee. So 6 people who, actually 12 people, 6 people from the Senate, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 6 people from the House, 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats. And they were supposed to come up with where those savings were going to come from, because they could have come from revenue as well as spending cuts. Where those savings were going to come from by the end of 2011. And if they didn't come up with those savings, then there was what was called sequestration. So an agreement that there would be automatic spending cuts that would go into effect in January of 2013 to be equally divided between the defense budget and the domestic side of the budget. And unless we do something between now and January, those cuts will go into effect and they will be automatic across the board cuts. They will exempt certain things. Medicare services will be exempted. Social Security is exempt. There will be some impact on provider payments for Medicare. So I don't think anybody agrees that that's the best way to deal with our budget problems in the country. That if you're going to address the challenges of the debt and deficit, across the board spending cuts is probably not the best way to do it. But there's not agreement on how to do that. I hope that we're going to get to some agreement. As I said earlier, I think as we're addressing this, we really need to look at the long term. We need to look at how we come up with the $4 trillion in savings that economists have said we need to come up with in order to get the debt and deficits under control. And that means we need to look at all aspects of the budget. But currently there's not agreement to do that, and there's not an official process underway within the Senate that would address that.
Thank you. I don't envy you your decision making between the defense companies here in the state, the BAS, BAE, Nanocon, the Ball-bearing company
Right.
up in the western part of the state, versus the dollar sign that you have to cut. Good luck.
Thank you. And as you point out, there will be a significant impact to failing to address, there will be an impact to addressing this issue, but there will be a significant impact for failure to address this issue as well. I was at the release of a report that was done by George Mason University a couple of months ago that said if we allow those spending cuts to go into effect on both the defense and domestic side of the budget, that we would see an almost equal impact on job loss from both sides of the budget. So about 1 million jobs lost on the domestic side, about 1 million jobs lost on the defense side. And as you point out, we would see some significant impact in New Hampshire pressure from those cuts, both to the defense industry as well as on the domestic side of the budget. So, as you point out, it's a difficult issue. It's one we need to address, and we need to do it in a way that allows for some open discussion and some transparency about how we're going to do it.